Imperfect Gentleman Show.
I am the impeccable, impenetrable Tehran Von Gosri, alongside Mr. GK, who's not in the building. He is in DC, and we are the Imperfect Gentleman. We do have a special guest in the building.
Hi, I'm Nadiya Khan.
Nadiya Khan, with the lack of enthusiasm. That was the hi, I'm Nadiya Khan.
I'm Nadiya Khan.
Yeah, I need more
Perfect,
something
Okay.
from you, supermodel, because that's what you do. You're a model, like an actual model, not an Instagram model, because there is a distinction. And I don't know if Instagram model, why do people look down on the term Instagram model?
Honestly, here we go. Instagram model. I think it's because they're models based on their following, how many people follow them.
But that's what a superstar is, right? A superstar is only a star based on if they have a draw at the box office.
Honestly, I don't think Instagram models have talent, so I don't really want to talk about it.
But a lot of people think models don't have talent.
Well, models actually train. They go for training. They've been doing this for a very long time.
Like
I've
what-
been doing it for a long time.
Like what kind of training though?
How to walk, how to talk, how to present yourself in front of people.
That just sounds like a baby who grows up.
Pretty much. We are babies.
But that's the thing. But it's actually, you guys do runway.
Yes. We do runway, we do print, we do...
In the modeling world, do runway models is there a hierarchy? Like, are runway models the top model and then print models like a step below and then porn models at the bottom? Like, how does it work? How does it work exactly?
Honestly, I don't really know. I don't really consider myself a model. I'm an actress. I'm a student. You know, I do it for fun. My passion is politics.
But you also make a good amount of money modeling.
I do, yeah.
So why do people look down like at that occupation model? Like, why is that something? Because I've noticed like a lot of the girls that I know that do model, they're always like, I'm not just a model, as if being a model, because like Giselle's just a model and
But she's Giselle.
married to Tom Brady, which means, but that's like a lot of things. It's like if I was just like, oh, I'm not a comedian. Like, clearly I'm a comedian. And for a long time I felt that way. Like I felt like, oh, I'm not just a comedian because people look down on comedians, but Kevin Hart's just a comedian.
He's an actor.
Yeah, is he though? Have you seen Range, or is he just Kevin Hart in every single movie?
Okay, he is Kevin Hart.
He's
in every
basically
single
the
movie.
comedian Kevin Hart in the role of Jumanji, in the role of the guy
No, you're
that's
right.
teaching someone else how to go to jail,
Yeah.
in the role of the CIA companion, or whatever movie he's in, or in the role of the guy who's telling his friends how to get girls. Like, he's just Kevin Hart. Like, why are we living in a world where we still look down on people who utilize their looks? See, there's a thing where we are like, oh, it's shallow if beauty is skin deep, and we value the inside. But at the same time, clearly we value the outside, which is why models get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. Well, they used to. Now they get paid pennies to the dollar. But they get paid because we care about the outside. And why isn't that just as important?
I think because many people think models are just stupid. They're just mannequins that have no say. Because that's how it is these days. A lot of models don't speak up for themselves. They don't communicate. They just go where their agent tells them to go and do what other people tell them to do.
And we have models like you who are very intelligent and brilliant, and that's why I even wanted you on the
Thank
on
you.
the show.
I really appreciate
But
that.
it's true. Like, you have these like strong opinions on politics and the world, and you have this cultural upbringing from South Africa.
Yes.
Yes, and with an Indian heritage.
Indian, Irish, German, and African.
So you have like this multi-diverse heritage, but I think that the Khan doesn't come from the Irish or.
The Khan is definitely not from the Irish.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's like Khan, or.
I feel
yes,
really strong when I
Khan
tell people my
O'Toole.
last name. Really strong and powerful.
Why?
I think just because of the heritage, the culture behind it. I don't really know my Irish, German, African roots as well as I know my Indian roots.
Sure. So what's the strength and heritage behind the last
Well,
name
just
Khan?
the history of Genghis Khan. who was not a great man, but very,
You know
very
what?
powerful.
Was he not though? Just because he murdered millions and millions
Murdered
of
and
millions of
raped
millions of
millions
people.
and millions of people.
I guess that's not no. I
No.
guess no.
He was powerful and intelligent, but not the best guy.
Is that where the last name Khan comes from?
It originates from, it means like leader, king, general, just someone in charge. And so that is where it...
We use it to just say like sir in Farsi.
Really?
Yeah, like if someone's name is like Shahpur, we'd be like, oh, Shahpur Khan. Like
I did not know that.
Yeah, we use it very casually.
Don't call me casual.
Yeah, we use it casually. We use it.
No, that's
casually.
really interesting. I did
Nadiya
not
Khan.
know that.
It would actually be like Nadia Sir. Like
I'll be sir.
yeah,
I'm fine with that.
That's in the modern world you might be sir. We don't know. Like you know what I'm saying? I was dating this girl once for 3 weeks, and one time I'm just jerking her off. Like, hey, wait, hold up. Why is this happening to me?
Stop.
Oh my gosh, why? Then I had to let her finish because,
Oh my gosh.
well, I didn't want to be a bigot. I didn't want to be a bigot.
No, let's stop.
That's what it is. So when it comes to modeling, people always think modeling is just skin deep, but it's really not. It's like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of long hours. It's a lot of, you don't just show up, walk, and get off.
No, you're right. On your feet for a very long time in 6-inch heels most days. You're in hair and makeup for about an hour, 2 hours. And then you're working 12 hours straight, taking pictures. You have to be so happy. No matter if you're hungry, if you're tired, you just have to put on this facade and pretend to be.
So it's a form of acting. And on top of that, you have to be berated constantly, I'm sure. Like, what's this? What's on your face? Why are you half a pound too heavy? Why is your ankle fat? Like,
coming from with my acting background, I've developed a very thick skin. Especially my family basically helped me because they're an Indian family and they were berating you way before you made it.
All
the time.
Yeah.
Everyone makes fun of everybody. So I think growing up in that sort of family,
I feel like foreign families make you.
Oh my gosh!
When I talk
idea.
to some of my American friends about things that they found, like, I can't believe my dad said. Your dad said that. That would have been the nicest thing my dad's ever said. Like,
no, I definitely have a really thick skin. I don't think everything just goes right over my head.
Yeah, I feel like,
and I thank my parents for that.
Foreign family, I swear they are the professionals of the saying something and then sticking it to you right out. Like,
I get the
oh my
best.
God, you look so good since last time you were so fat. Like, what?
I get the best compliments and insults. In the
Exactly.
same sentence, always, no matter what. I'm just used to it.
Backhanded compliments.
All the time.
It's negging at its finest. That's why we're also always we're such groupies of our parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're like their groupies because they neg us constantly. So we just listen to everything they say, even though we act like it doesn't bother us. So you grew up in South Africa?
Yeah, I moved to the U.S. when I was 11, and then my family went back every year for summer, winter holidays. So, I mean, I spent most of my life in the U.S., in New Orleans, actually.
But you went back a lot.
I went back a lot.
So where? Where in South Africa?
My dad's family's from Johannesburg. My mom's family is from Jeffreys Bay.
So
pretty much all over.
Okay, so if you're in South Africa, what are some major differences between the United States? Because I'm sure they're way more similar than what people think.
Yeah.
But what are some big differences?
Customer service.
Why?
People are very, very sweet and professional.
In South Africa,
yeah. Like going to a grocery store, even going to McDonald's. Did you know that the workers at McDonald's in South Africa all have a smile and they all sing?
They sing?
They sing to you while they're making your food. I'm not even joking.
In McDonald's and South. Well, I don't know if we're allowed to do that here.
Well,
sing, Maria.
Well,
I don't think.
I think they do it just because they're happy. It's not part of the job.
They're happy.
Literally just happy.
Is it because they're African and they've made Africans sing? Is this racist on the part of McDonald's? Like, you're in Africa, you have to sing. But sir, we don't apartheid. We don't want sing. Okay, Umbutu, you will sing.
No. Yeah, just customer service in general.
So what else? What about okay, so Miss South Africa just won
Miss Universe.
Miss Universe. And I mean, she's obviously very beautiful. And I swear there's something about that South African accent that makes you sound more elegant than you are. Because we don't know. She could be a total ratchet. You have a little bit.
Little.
Yeah, you have a little bit. But when it comes to, a lot of people were upset because it's like 80% of that country is not white. And the one person who wins is not only from that specific country, but is a white person from that specific country who doesn't represent the population. And we're trying to say that, no, there is now a more multicultural standard of beauty that exists. And we realize that sometimes it's really not. Even though she is very tan. Like, it wasn't like she was like Scottish white. She was tan. She was a tan looking brunette.
Her answers were intelligent.
Her aunt is quite intelligent. Why do you say that?
Answers.
Oh, her answers. Her answers. See, did you see how intelligent that sound? Her answers were quite intelligent, even the way you said it. But what about her?
I did not know that people were upset about it.
People were upset about it, yeah.
South Africans were upset about it?
I don't know if specifically South Africans. I think black people in the United States who have a different understanding of racism. Mm-hmm. And it's not saying that South Africa clearly has dealt with these problems of racism.
Oh, definitely.
But it's still
very recently.
I mean, it still exists.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, there's still a big stigma between black people and white people and who interacts with who and the schools and light skin, dark skin. There's different tribes have a lot of beef towards each other. Like, yeah, I read about Trevor Noah.
I'm surprised.
No, but I mean, I know there was a time where, you know, white people could walk on one side of the road and black people, even though there was like, at some points, there wasn't even a law about it, would not walk on that side of the road for fear of retribution. There would be something that would happen to them. So they walked on the other side.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't just black and white. It was the Indians. It was mixed race.
Also have like black and Indian people also clash there as if they're not all discounted equally under white oppression, which is very interesting to me.
And very sad, but.
Yeah, because I remember reading how Gandhi was actually racist against black people.
Yeah.
And he was also, there's a flux of, a lot of people don't realize this, especially in somewhere like South Africa, there's a flux of Indian people who were brought there during colonialism by the English. And they were brought there to supplement the slavery, basically. And so they were also there. So there's a lot of Indians from India, not Indian Native American, in South Africa.
Yeah.
And that's a huge population of people.
There's actually a city in South Africa called Durban that has the most Indians outside of India.
Oh, wow.
And it's in Durban, South Africa.
That's craziness.
Yeah.
And what kind of Indian? Because that's another thing people in America don't know, is that India isn't just one group of people. India consists of many different groups of people. There are Gujaratis, there's Tamils, there's Punjabis. And it's just like groups and groups of people, and no one realizes they're not all the same, and they have their inner problems with one another as well.
All types of groups, honestly. Yeah, religions. It's just everyone from India.
Yeah. What's your religion? Do you have like a specific one?
So my father's family is Muslim, and my mother's family is Catholic, and I grew up.
So you're Matholic. You just
that's funny. I grew up between the two. I had a lot of Jewish friends.
So you have a lot of guilt. So basically,
I decided that I wanted to study every single religion in the world, including ancient religions. And I came to the conclusion that I just need to be a good person. So I don't follow.
So you're Zoroastrian.
I don't follow any particular religion.
That's an excellent choice. You've decided to be Zoroastrian. Good thoughts, good words, good deeds.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I have this conversation with people I know about religion, and people are so sure that their religion is right and everyone else's is wrong. And there's a guy who I play basketball with who was just explaining how Jews and Muslims are wrong and gay people are wrong. It was really adamant about it. And I was like, well, what religion are you? And of course he said, I'm Christian. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, why do you think you're Christian? And he's like, because I am aware of Jesus Christ and he's my Lord and Savior. I was like, sure, but you're so sure your religion's right. What religion are your parents? And he was like, they're Christian, of course. And I was like, what about your grandparents? And he's like, they're Christians. My whole family's been Christians. And I was like, so you think it's a coincidence that you think that your religion is right, the one that you've been mandated and programmed to believe in by generations and generations of your family. Yeah. Like, do you think that's a coincidence? That the only reason, for example, you even think you're American is because someone told you you're American, and that you speak with an accent that's conducive of to wherever you're from. That's a specific sign of programming and conditioning, and we're all just programmed and conditioned. Not to say that God isn't real or that a religion isn't right or wrong. I don't know. What I'm saying is we are mostly programmed to think whatever it is that we think.
So what did he say?
He punched me in the face. But the point was, that I just feel like most of us are programmed.
Of course. And I had to learn that on my own. I grew up in my parents are very, very liberal. But most of the time they were working when we were in South Africa, and I spent a lot of time with my grandmother and my aunts, who are extremely religious. And I just felt none of them answered my questions. They told me not to question anything, and I was just forced to study what I wasn't enjoying. Like, I loved the history of it. That's the only class I enjoyed when I went to like Islamic school and all that. But I didn't like the fact that I was forced to believe in something that people didn't want to answer for me. And so when I was able to go to university and one day I told my parents that I want to study everything and figure out for myself what I believe in, and they were very supportive of that.
And you were able, and thankfully your parents were open enough to allow you to do that.
Yeah.
It's interesting how I also feel like people hold Muslims to a higher standard of religion than other religions. And I'll give you an example. Some people will be like, oh, she's not Muslim. She doesn't even cover. She's not really Muslim. And that to me bothers me, because we wouldn't say the same thing about a Christian person that goes out or drinks or parties and then goes to church on Sunday. So why is there such a higher standard of religion when it comes to Muslims? Like, oh, well, they're not even good Muslims because they X, Y, and Z. But we would never say that. Like, rappers go up on stage and thank God all the time. Like, yeah, I want to thank Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And then all my bitches, and all the Cristal I was pouring on hoes. Like, wait, what? Like, we do that often. Like, you can be Muslim and be liberal. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that excludes the two from one another.
Because of the media. People just believe everything they see. And it's a cultural thing. My family, for example, only my grandmother and her sisters wear the hijab. No one else does unless they're praying. So it's a cultural thing. It's how you were brought up, I believe.
And I agree. Like, most of it is cultural. Like, when people talk to me about Muslims, because especially now with everything going on and the terrorist attack and this and that, and everyone's like, oh, Muslims. It's like, no, you're actually kind of really talking about a specific type of Muslim, and that type is Arab. Like, you're not afraid of Indian Muslims. You're not afraid of Indonesians who make up a majority of Muslims. Like,
yeah, exactly.
The average Muslim doesn't look like a brown guy with a beard. It actually looks like an Asian guy that works at dry cleaning. Like, that's what the average Muslim looks like. That because they're mostly Asian.
Yeah.
So you're talking about something like 25% of all Muslims, less than 20. Like, there's just as many Middle Eastern Muslims as there are Nigerian Christians. Mm-hmm. That's basically how it works out. Just because a lot of the Arab countries don't have large populations. They just don't. Mm-hmm. Besides Iran, no other place in that region has a population, over 50 million basically. So it's just a small group of people. And people always assume that all Muslims are the same, and they are not. Indian Muslims are very different, for example, than Arab Muslims, who are very different than Indonesian Muslims, who are very different than Muslims in Philadelphia.
Right.
Black Muslims.
Just with any other religion, actually.
Yeah, but people group Muslims the most.
And who's to blame for that?
Muhammad. No, I don't know. I'm gonna get a jihad for me after saying that. Watch. I was kidding. Listen, guys, ISIS. I was kidding.
He's talking about my cousin Muhammad.
Yeah, Muhammad's the most common name in the world.
Yeah,
I was just meant true. Like Muhammad Akhtak. He's just some random guy, owns a 7-Eleven down the street.
Do you actually know someone with that name?
Muhammad Akhtar?
Yeah.
No, but I do have a cousin Muhammad, which is a
I
thing.
think everyone has a cousin named Muhammad.
Well, not everyone. I'm sure there's a bunch of Bills and Steves that don't have cousins named Muhammad, but I have a cousin named Muhammad, and on my dad's side of the family, they're Muslim and Zoroastrian, and then on my mom's side, they're Jewish and Baptist, and it just
Wow.
just
What a
depends on how
combination.
far you go back up.
You are such a combination.
So it's just like one of those things where I think everybody's wrong. That's basically. So what are these political views that you have that are just so?
Oh, I don't think we should get into that.
No, I think we should though. How
don't
you
know.
want to go into politics?
No, I didn't say I was gonna talk about that.
Oh, so what is so political
Okay, let me
about
explain. Let me
Yes.
explain. I studied political science. My concentration was international security and international relations because all of those kind of things really excite me. Weapons of mass destruction.
you? Whoa! She means like she's just
the real
interested.
reason the
She's
U.S.
not-
went to Afghanistan.
Yo, as a a potential Muslim, we shouldn't say we're interested in weapons of mass destruction. I'm not
Hey,
on board
I'm
with-
non-religious. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So
No, that's what I studied. That's what I wrote my thesis on.
what do you mean it's the real reason we went to Afghanistan?
I didn't say that was the real reason. I said I was just interested in what the real reason was.
Oh,
But
what do you think is the real reason?
I know, but I'm just not going to get into it.
What's your opinion?
Read my thesis. I'll mail it to you.
So you have a master's,
yeah.
and you wrote on this, and
Not
does
in
it have to do with
particular.
strategic
There's
positioning and
a
minerals?
chapter on it. There's a chapter on it. But
Does
I
it
didn't
have to
wanna
do with
get
natural
into-
resources and strategic positioning, plus the fact that it's a perfect location between Russia and Iran? Were any of these in the thesis that you wrote?
Maybe.
Or do you not have your citizenship yet? Let's express that first. Let's make sure that you're not getting denied citizenship.
Hey, no, don't worry. I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the real reason why I studied politics is because growing up in South Africa, and then growing up in the US, I just saw the difference between how the government treats their citizens. And I wanted to bring some of that to South Africa, what I learned in the US. But then as time went on, I realized that the whole world is actually just really, really screwed up. What can we actually do?
So that's interesting because I feel like at some point, have you ever had your room be so messy you're just like it's easier to move?
No.
Okay, well, neither have I. I was just kidding. You didn't have to just judge me right there, okay? I felt judged. It's been a situation where my room's so messy and it's just like it's just easier to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sheesh. Why is my room like this, you know? And I feel like the world is the same way. Like, it's just so messy that it's like, can we ever fix it? Do you think we can?
I don't think we can fix it. We can slowly alter it.
But you don't think we can fix?
No.
Why?
Because humans ultimately will always want to destroy things. That's just
so
the way
you think it's human nature to
it's human
innately
nature to destroy.
I often say this to people because people are like, well, the world's going to end. I'm like, no, humanity's going to end.
Humanity
The
is
world
going to
doesn't need us. Like the rest of the world, trees and animals and bees and everything else doesn't really need us. In fact, we hurt them too.
Mm-hmm.
Like every decision we make affects them more than any decision that a panda makes or a whale makes combined. Like it
Right.
doesn't matter what their decision makes. They make. We affect everyone and everything around us.
Mm-hmm.
So we should be more cognitive of these decisions. So you recycle, I'm assuming?
I do.
A big recycler?
I'm a big recycler.
If everyone recycles, like nothing
wish everyone
changes, but
recycled.
at least we feel better about it.
I feel better. Yeah, I like to. When people come over, I try to educate them on recycling.
Whose fault do you think all of this is? Like, if you had to say, hey, it's the fault of one group of people, who would you blame?
Who would you blame?
White people. Here's the thing. I'm blaming, no, actually, and that's a thing. That's a misnomer. When I say I really mean wealthy, specifically wealthy, not rich, wealthy, elite white people who control the world. And I do not know if I blame them, because it's also just a form of self-preservation. Meaning that the media, for example, we have this notion that there's like black people and white people and Hispanics and Muslims and Jews and Republicans and Democrats and, you know, Palestinians and Israelis. There are not. There are only two types of people on the planet. It's the haves and the have-nots. Mm-hmm. And the rest of us are have-nots. There are only a finite number, less than 2,000 people who have. 2,000 human beings on this planet have. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the population, the rest of the 8 billion people have not. And I'm including people in this like Justin Bieber and people who we think are so rich, but they're not wealthy. Mm-hmm. They're not. They don't have generations of power and influence and unlimited money at their disposal where they can influence change in the world at every level. And there are people that can. Yeah. There are people that can. So I blame them because they have that ability. And we are divided because of it. We think we are a world of consumerism because of it. Advertisement works, or you wouldn't be a model. The commercials wouldn't be on TV. Facebook wouldn't be for free. Mm-hmm. It's because they target us with advertisements because we believe things we see. And you shouldn't always believe things you see, because even salt looks like sugar. Unless you taste it, you don't know the difference.
You're right.
So that's just my opinion. I also blame the Jews. No, I love my Jews, my people. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I just, and the people that I blame the most is all of us. And it's because we have all this knowledge at our disposal, and yet we don't use it.
Exactly.
We can look up stuff. We can see, hey, if we just get to know a black person, there was a time where you wouldn't be, if you lived in Alabama, you wouldn't be able or allowed to know a black person. Now you can just meet one on Facebook. Hey, Jamal, what's up? I'm Brian. I'm raised in a racist family, but I want to know why I'm actually racist. Mm-hmm. Do you like things that I like? Oh, you do? Oh, shit. You know, shucks. Good goggly moggly, whatever. Me and Billy Ray and Billy Bob had no idea, you know? Like, we can get to know one another. Racism does not hold up to contact. And even things like, we should all have Teslas. You know what I'm saying? They've made Teslas so difficult to sell.
Gosh, I really want a Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, they're also like a waiting list and expensive, but we should all have like electric cars. We have the ability to have electric cars, and yet we still use gasoline because comfort is complacency. Like, we'd rather be comfort and convenient than actually put in work. That's why we check yes on Snapchat filters. We don't care that they're just storing our facial recognition in software and for who knows what for later, for the New World Order. We just like, okay, but look at dog ears. So it's just interesting to me.
It's scary.
Is it though?
This world's a scary place.
But has it always been scary? Like, every generation thinks they live in the scariest of times. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
And that the past
in terms of
was brighter.
Wars, I mean, it's so much better now.
Yeah, like World War II was really a thing. Like, World War II really happened.
It was a thing. It actually happened.
But we don't talk about it like it happened. Mm-hmm. Like, we talk about it as if it's like some mythical. Yo, World War II is less than 100 years ago. Like, it really happened. There are people still alive that know very much about World War II and about segregation and about all these things that we talk about as if they were so long ago. Mm-hmm. We act like Nirvana was a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Teen Spirit happened less than 30 years ago.
So then, do we really live in a great time? I
mean, kind of, because we have a lot of things at our disposal, and we have a lot of opportunities and chances if we want to use them, if we decide to use them. Like, you don't feel like as a woman, you don't live in a great time of womenness?
No.
Why? I feel as a black person, because black people always were upset about like all the things that happen. This is the best it's ever been. This is the least amount of police brutality. This is the least amount of police just shooting you. Like 30 years ago, there were no cameras. 50 years ago, there were no laws against it. Like, this is the best time.
No,
and
I
it's
have
just
hope.
getting
I
better.
have hope.
So
I have
why
hope
as
for
a
the
woman
future.
would you not feel this? A woman, I feel like this is the best time to be a woman.
No, this is the best time to be a woman. You're right. It's just with everything going on in terms of sexual harassment, recently my mind has just been somewhere else, especially as a model.
But the fact that we even talk about it, even it's something that you
it
feel.
was never talked.
You
no
can
one spoke
actually
about
come
it
out
before.
and tell people, and people actually believe you now. 20 years ago, people would have been like, so what, Catherine?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're supposed
Your ankles
to.
are probably showing.
Yeah, you're supposed to suck them up. Like, what? Like, that's a real thing. You know, I'll tell you the perfect example of change that's happened in my lifetime. When I was a kid, or even, as a kid and going into teenager, the word faggot was very common. Like, rappers would be like faggot, and it'd be, now I'm driving in West Hollywood, the rapper, I'll listen to like an older song, and it'll be like nigga, nigga this, and nigga, nigga that. And then as soon as like it'll say faggot, I'll turn it down and then turn it back up. Like, can't say that word anymore. You know, like that's change. That's change. That is a group of people who have implemented change to be for positive change and productivity in their community. The LGBTQ community is very strong. In fact, I often say maybe as black people, we should start calling gay people nigger, and then they'd stop being able to say it. Like, if you call gay, they will get rid of that word quick.
Interesting.
I mean, I feel like we're implementing change.
We are, especially this generation with social media.
So you're a fan of social media.
I am a fan of social media.
Why?
Simply because how else would we have really known about the Arab Spring?
You mean all the stuff going on in Egypt at that time in 2009 when
Yes.
the protests were leading up
Exactly.
to
It was all, what was it,
2011?
all through Facebook? I
Yeah,
believe?
through Facebook. A lot of these
Social-
protests and stuff were organized on Facebook, social media. But social media also, I feel like it's a double-edged sword because it gives us a platform where you feel on one side, hey, I'm doing something, and on the other side, you're actually not doing anything.
Yeah.
Because you're tweeting about it and then it's out there and now nothing. You're not getting up. You're not physically protesting. You're like, oh, I signed that document that went around electronically. Like, when was the last time Congress actually listened to one of those?
That's a joke.
I mean, it's real. Like Twitter, what does Twitter actually do? You're doing what exactly?
Hoping that someone on a much larger scale could see it and help.
See, but the thing is, everyone's always out there like, man, I wish someone could change this. And then one day they should look in a mirror and be like, wait, I'm someone.
Yeah.
I'm actually someone. I could change this. Like, I could become, how do you even, I mean, do you want to go into a career of politics eventually?
Yes.
How do you even do that?
Well, not politics in the terms of how Americans see politics, or I just want to work in the government behind the scenes. I don't want to be seen.
So you want to be a part of the shadowy organization known as the Illuminati. I totally
Pretty much,
understand.
yeah.
I've actually applied several times
Yeah.
and no one's ever
No?
hit me
Really?
back. So if you guys are listening, I'm down and I don't really mind the way things are. I just want to be in.
Hey, give me their contact info.
I just want to have access to the bunker, So what do you want to do in politics exactly? Like,
I want to focus on security in South Africa,
what do you mean?
like national security.
Interesting. And what's your biggest passion, political passion right now as a person?
Okay, so 4 or 5 years ago, I created a foundation called I Am Hope, where we clothed, fed, and taught people in rural areas of South Africa about AIDS and HIV. What I did was I funded a local school and an orphanage because a lot of the kids were they were basically thrown away by their family members. And then you'd have like this amazing woman who take in all these children, and it's just this one woman dealing with like 20, 30 kids.
Wow.
And they don't have anyone else to visit them, anyone to play with them. So that's actually my passion. I'm really, really passionate about helping children who suffer from HIV and AIDS because it's the fastest growing disease in South Africa.
My buddy Mozzie is all about making wells in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like you guys just make me feel like such a bad person because
Why?
I don't give a shit. Like, listen, I just don't.
Hey, this is our
But
future.
I should
Children
care.
are our future. That's where we should be placing
And I should
most
care.
of our.
I
Yeah.
should care. Like, and I don't, and I should care. Like, and people will be like, I can't believe you said that. But how many of us change the channel when that commercial comes on? It's like, kids in Africa are starving. You know, we have so much food and people are still starving. How is that even a thing?
You know what really upsets me? I just recently found out that many restaurants in the U.S., fast food places, they throw away their food that isn't even touched. They don't give it away.
No, 100%. And they do that because they're not allowed to give it.
Why are they not allowed?
They're not allowed.
Because they can't. They don't want to be sued if someone were to get sick.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
And that's a real thing. It's a real thing.
People really sue here for everything.
And actually, you know what? We actually have a lot of states where it's illegal for you as a private citizen to feed homeless people. And people get arrested for it all the time. That is a true story.
Really?
Yeah. That is a true story. I want you to look up these stories. Like, go online and find them.
That is so tragic. Why?
I mean, I don't know the exact reasons for these laws. I just know that these laws exist. So it's not like I know why. I don't know why it happens.
Trying to get rid of the
Exactly.
poor population.
Exactly. So it's just interesting. My one big thing is I did want to get to Meghan Markle and your thoughts on the Prince Harry, Meghan Markle thing. It's just a romance. Simply because you're also, you know, a girl. And I think for a lot of girls, this is the princess, you actually become the princess story. For me, it is because I'm like, I wanted to marry Prince Harry. You know what I'm saying? No, because in the world, there's only so many princes and princesses and kings and queens. And it's like, you
Everybody
get to be
wants
one.
to marry a prince and
Yeah.
princess, right?
So what do you think about this marriage? It's like
I think it's
pop
beautiful.
culture right now.
I think it's really beautiful. I don't know much about it, but Prince Harry is an outstanding human being. All that his
Well, he did have that Nazi.
Okay, except for that. He
He did wear a Nazi outfit for Halloween one year. I was like, what were you thinking? Who approved that?
You know what? I actually forgot about that one.
I didn't. So it's
I forgot about that one.
As a black Persian Jew, I kind of remember that one. It stayed on my mind. But Prince Harry does help a lot of things.
He does.
He's followed in Princess Diana's footsteps.
Yes.
In that regards. And Meghan Markle, you know what I really find interesting is how no one is more mean than British press. Because they just say these snide comments. They're
what
like,
did they say?
Prince Harry is finally engaged to divorced American actress
yes, I
Meghan
saw
Markle.
that.
It's like, and they welcome him to the family. Like,
Divorced American actress.
I mean, it makes a difference in royal law about being divorced and your heritage, because Meghan Markle is obviously of mixed race. And not that I believe in the concept of race, because I think everyone's human and we should just kind of accept that. But she's half black, half white. And they did one thing, though, where it turns out that they have a common relative back in the 15th century.
Oh, yeah. They
Yeah. And you know what? I feel like that makes sense. The royals don't make mistakes like this, you know?
So you think that was planned?
I think it was a little planned. I mean, I do realize that London has the most mixed couples in the world. That the royal family is, everyone's making it a big deal, but the royal family is really just catching up to the times. And they're supposed to be the leader of Britishness. I mean, they are still owners of a third of the planet in a way. I mean, South Africa is still technically one of their colonies, regardless.
I mean, just listen to our accents.
Yeah, well, I mean, doesn't the Queen still play a role?
No.
I think the Queen does. I think the Queen still, I think England still receives taxes from South Africa the same way it does from Canada.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
The Canada is just, she's on the money. You know what I'm saying? New Zealand, Australia, I'm telling you, South Africa is still very much under British control in that manner. I don't think the UK does not play a large part in the politics of South Africa. I think they have a lot of influence.
Okay, when I get to that point in my life,
Please let me know.
I will be back here, and I will let you know.
Please confirm, or confirm one way or the other that no, actually the Brits have nothing to do. Or, I mean, regardless, they are still a very influential, powerful family in the world.
A lot of South Africans think that South Africa is owned by the Indians now.
Oh, because there's so many Indians?
So many Indians, and yeah.
Is there racism towards Indians in South Africa?
There's racism towards everyone, everywhere, if you think about it.
Sure, but I feel like white people have it pretty well.
Not in South Africa, not recently.
Why? What happened?
There's a lot of farm killings going on.
People go into farms and just kill.
White farmers in South Africa
are getting murdered by non-whites.
Yeah.
So basically it's Compton. Got it. Understood. I got it. So do you find it, first of all, would you have wanted to marry a royal?
No.
Why?
I don't do well with rules.
Rules. You have a little bit of Rihanna streak in you.
Yeah.
I get it. More Rihanna than Beyonce.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't do well with that. I want to, I wouldn't want to be a part of a family that's going to dictate how I get married, where I get married.
How you get up in the morning.
How I get up in the morning, what I name my children, which schools they go to. No, that I wouldn't want to be part of a family. I completely understand that.
I totally would. If Prince Harry, if you decide to, just letting you know, I'm mixed too, buddy. Whatever. So what about like the concept of him marrying someone who's colored or mulatto, as the English term?
Well, I'm considered colored in South Africa.
In South Africa, they still use the term colored.
I told someone that here, and they were like, "What? Don't ever say that." And I'm like, "But that's what I am."
Yeah, but that's what the term is. Like,
yeah,
the term is differs from country to country. In the United States, NAACP stands for the National Advancement of Colored People. That's what it stands for. The word colored was very predominant in going into the 50s. So, I mean, do you find it difficult to date because you're so opinionated and bossy?
Fun fact about me, I always end up dating guys that are much younger than me.
Why?
And I think it's because I have this thing about control. I just feel like I need to be in control.
You're
all the time.
An alpha?
I am an alpha.
And so you date younger guys just so they can listen to everything you say?
Pretty much, yeah.
And you don't get tired with that?
No.
Really? I've noticed sometimes I've found that alpha girls like finding guys that are alphas that can put them in check just a little.
I mean, I like being the alpha, and I'll enjoy being put into check.
You do not?
Sometimes. I do, sometimes, sure. But all on my terms.
So you like always being in control?
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That is a really big problem. I actually spoke to my parents about this.
Or maybe it's not. Maybe it just means you need to find that guy.
I mean, I'm really happy and secure with myself. I don't think I ever need anybody. So I'm just like going on my life. If someone comes along and they want to be a part of it, then great. If not, then move on.
Do you feel like guys are intimidated because you do modeling and things like that? Has that ever come up?
Yes. But what really intimidates them, and they've actually spoke to me about this, is me just being so opinionated about everything in my life. And I try to tone it down a bit, but then I'm not going to dumb myself down just so that this guy can feel comfortable.
Yeah, but do you get into debates or do you get into arguments?
No, I get into debates. And it bothers me because a lot of them, especially in Los Angeles, the guys that I'm around, they don't want to ever debate with me because I feel like there's just air up there. I can't.
Are you dating other models?
Not really.
That sounded like a yes. Like the pause and the not really means definitely yes. And I'm not saying that models aren't intelligent. I'm just saying that some models are not intelligent.
No, not really, actually. And I think it's also like growing up in the South, people are just very, very narrow-minded.
Where in the South?
In Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And I never had a boyfriend in high school or in college.
Why?
Because of this reason. Because I just couldn't click with any guy. They would just, it's a type of guy that wants a wife and have kids type. I've never.
Yeah, I hate
know?
those kind of nice guys who just want a wife and have kids. You know,
They
who
just
I
want to
like?
put me in the kitchen. I don't want to be in the kitchen.
No one wants to put you in the kitchen. Can you even cook? I don't know.
Hey, hey.
Can you cook?
I can cook.
Okay, then get in the kitchen. Listen, here's the thing. Like, when it comes to dating in LA, right? Because that's where your dating life exists.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that a lot of guys are just fuckboys?
Yeah.
And how do you determine if someone's a fuckboy or someone's a good guy?
I speak to them pretty much about what we were talking about today and just see where their head's at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm in the
You're-
fuckboy category?
No, not at all.
Oh, because that's how I actually deceive.
Really?
I'm just fuckboy central.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
George and I
Thank
both
you.
not fuckboys.
Yeah, I can already tell.
Because I definitely don't date because I'm too good.
I don't date.
I think I'm too good.
I'm too good. I don't date
think
anybody.
I'm too good. Like, don't, you're not,
I think
I'm too good. So I'm too good. And then George, because he just can't find the one. He's looking for the one. And he might have found the one. I don't know, but
Don't look. Don't look.
Is that what it is?
It'll come.
And your friend Kelsey was supposed to be here.
Yes, Kelsey's shooting for guests.
Yeah, she's too important for
Having
us.
the time of her life right now.
Of course. Do you actually have fun on shoots?
I have a lot of fun on shoots.
Why?
I enjoy just putting on clothing and jumping around and being a different person. I'm a psycho.
Are you though? Are all models a little psycho?
No.
No, is
No,
Kelsey
I really
a little
do.
psycho?
I think everyone is a little psycho.
Oh.
A little bit. I enjoy runway though. Like that I absolutely
Oh,
I used
you're
to
very
do that.
tall.
I think I'm tall enough. I look
What,
taller
you're
than my
5'7",
pictures.
5'8"?
I'm 5'8", but I mean like runway, that's 5'10", 5'11".
Okay.
And because my legs are so skinny, I look taller
You
on
look
the
tall,
runway.
Sure.
So that's what I did when I
There's
was
like
in
a
New
higher
York.
torso.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I did that in New York and I loved every moment about it. It's just so nerve-wracking backstage and everyone's going crazy, putting clothes on.
Why? Why is it so nerve-wracking? Like,
Because you have to get the model hair, makeup done perfect. She needs to know her walk and everything goes really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I step on the runway, there's all these cameras and all these people staring at me and I hear absolutely nothing. It feels
have you ever
like-
fallen?
No, but this is really embarrassing. I was doing one of my first runway shows. I think I was 14 or 15. And the designer was sticking clothing on me and like one of the things was falling off my shoulder. And she was like, it's okay, just go on the runway. And so I'm walking on the runway. Everything's perfect. I get to the end and I feel this strong gust of wind just blow the straps down. And I didn't realize that I'm sitting there with my breast just out there for everyone in the
Exposed.
audience to see.
No.
And I just like put it back on. I didn't freak out on the runway, and then I just did my thing. But what really embarrassed me is because my dad and his business partners were sitting right at the end of the runway. And this was like the first time he's seen me on the runway and this happens. And he just played it cool. He was like, oh, you did really well. And I'm just like, oh my God, you guys were sitting right there. And this is like all his business partners.
And his business partner's like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
And from then on, you were never allowed at business meetings ever again. Is that what it is? That's interesting, like those kind of mishap stories. And you feel like you don't find, because of your looks and your intelligence, that you have a harder time finding love?
No.
Like, no? Guys come up to you all the time?
No. What it is I have so much love for myself that I feel like I will attract what I give to myself.
Interesting.
So I don't attract negative people in my life. I don't attract mean creepers because that's not who I am. And the people who do come into my life, I have really great bonds with them and great friendships, even with my ex. He's actually a really good friend of mine because I like to keep that connection.
Has that ever come up with like another boy that your ex is a good friend of yours?
Actually, with a guy that you've met.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah. So they've actually worked together. They've never met, but they both know that I'm friends. I mean, and I'm like, you guys want to be in my life? It's cool. Just trust me. I'm very trustworthy, but there's no jealousy here. Like, he's still my friend. If you're okay with that, you can still be in my life.
Yeah, girls are so shady, bro.
Hey,
girls
how is that shady?
Girls are just so shady.
How is
girls
that?
just like, why? Like, oh, if you want to be in my life.
I just don't want people to be hurt. You know, I wouldn't want to have an ex go into the world thinking, what if this? Does Nadiya still hate me? You know, like I just don't want that. I want everyone to love me.
Well, let's see if we can get to know you really quick. I'm going to ask you a series of questions called either or, and you have to pick one or the other. Okay?
Okay.
All right. We're going to go with Fendi or Gucci.
Gucci.
Okay. Boots or shoes.
Boots.
Okay. Dresses or tops.
Tops.
Okay. Rock star or pop star.
Pop star.
Pop star. Strong. Okay. Europe or Asia.
Asia.
Asia. Wow. That's a good one. That's good. That was a test.
Mm-hmm.
We were testing how woke you are. Okay. South Africa or all of Africa?
All of Africa.
All of Africa, which most people think is a thing anyway. They're like, I'm going to Africa. Where? Like, where in Africa? Yeah. It's going to drop you off in Zimbabwe.
Someone was like, you know, I have a good friend named Martin in Mozambique. I was like, great.
Yeah.
What am I
they're
supposed to
just
do
like,
with this information?
Interesting. That's funny. Okay. Spaghetti or meatballs?
Spaghetti.
Okay. Okay. Kale or organic tomatoes?
Kale.
Really? Over organic tomatoes? I don't even know what either one tastes like. Okay. IHOP or Denny's?
IHOP.
Strong. And that's why we know we have a winner. Thank you so much, Nadiya, for being here.
Thank you
we
for having
usually play
me.
Marry, Fuck, Kill, but George isn't in the building for you to play this game. And I don't know if I'm sure at this point you'd marry Martin. So where can people find you if you want them to find you?
I'm on Instagram at nadiyakhan.com. Just kidding. There's no .com.
It's just Nadiya Khan.
It's just Nadiya Khan.
So NadiyaKhan.
Khan. Yes.
And people find her, look at her pictures. They're amazing. She's also amazing to have at your comedy show. So you might want to let her know when your shows are. She comes to like a bunch of my shows with her friends. So thank you so much for being so supportive and being on the show today. Make sure to vote for her one day whenever she's running for an office that she doesn't even know she's going to run for.
Whenever I run for president of South Africa.
Yeah, make sure to vote for her. And of course, we are the Impeccable Gentlemen. I am Tehran Von Gosri at I am Tehran all across the board. George isn't here at Mr. George Corey, Khouri. Stephanie hasn't ever been here. We don't even remember what she looks like. And we are Imperfect Gentlemen. Remember, there's nobody perfect but us. We'll catch you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.